Yo, what's up, everybody? Today's Tuesday, March 14th. 8 games on the schedule. Let's take a look at each one of these matchups, break them down, and come up with some picks. First game, Cleveland at Charlotte. Cleveland, a 6-point favorite. I had Cleveland favored by 8.5. Obviously, my overnight line was done yesterday, overnight. My estimate, 2.5 points higher than the actual line. Word just came out. Donovan Mitchell's going to be missing from tonight's matchup. Along with Jarrett Allen, that's two starters out for the Caps. The Charlotte Hornets are going to be getting Kelly Oubre Jr. Back for tonight's game. These two teams played a couple nights ago. Charlotte was up big for the majority of that game, crumbled at the end. Cleveland got the W. In tonight's matchup, guys, I think Cleveland still does have enough to get the win. I'm going to be looking to take a play with Cleveland in tonight's matchup, but I will be looking to take them on a money line parlay. I'm going to be adding a second team to this parlay. Let's talk about the second play that I will add to this parlay. This is in the game between Orlando and San Antonio. Orlando, 5-point favorite. Had Orlando favored by 4. It's a point higher than my estimate. Looks like Coach Pop is going to start tanking again. If you look at the injury report, looks kind of loaded again for San Antonio. He took a break from all that losing. He played everybody in their game against Denver, just enough to fuck everyone over on the money line parlay. They beat the Nuggets. Ever since that, got back to their losing ways, lost to the Thunder in their last game. Looks like tonight they might double up those losses. Orlando showed some pretty good signs. They snapped out of their funk in their last game against Miami at home, got a nice W. I think they'll take care of business tonight. Don't know if they'll cover this spread, but I don't really care about that. I'm gonna be playing in this matchup a parlay with Cleveland and Orlando on the money line. It should pay a little more than even money. I think it's a pretty good combination. Next game, Detroit at Washington. Detroit got a W yesterday, snapped their losing streak. Good win for Detroit. Back-to-back tonight at Washington. Washington, we know, has been struggling of late. 3-game losing streak, just outside of the play-in tournament. The reason for this huge line, guys, is minus 12, along with the back-to-back. Kyle Kuzma is also going to be out for Washington. Everybody else is in. Of course, they're the clear-cut favorite, but this line, guys, is an overinflated line. We're going to start seeing a lot of these lines from now until the end of the season, with teams fighting for positioning in the playoffs. We're going to see a bunch of lines like this. This line is overinflated, guys. I'm going to be looking to take Detroit in this matchup with the plus 12. Can't say I'm extremely hot on this because we know Detroit can crumble away and get destroyed at any moment in time. But they showed some pretty decent signs yesterday in their win against Indiana, even though Indiana was very short-handed. Still, played pretty well. Second night of back-to-back. Young guys. I think they might get some rhythm. Keep this game a little competitive. Detroit in the points is my lean on this matchup. Next game, Denver at Toronto. Toronto's a 1-point favorite. I had Toronto by 2.5. There's a 1.5 lower actually than my estimate. The Nuggets have been struggling, guys. 3 straight losses. They still have a comfortable lead atop the Western Conference. They're 4.5 games ahead of Memphis, second place Memphis. So those losses don't really mean too much for them as far as positioning in the standings go. But of course, it's never good losing. In tonight's matchup, it's going to be the first game on the road. They were at home for a few games. They're going to be heading up to Toronto in Canada. Toronto, guys, has had a few days off. This is going to be their first game back from a pretty long road trip. They did have a lot of days off though. Should be fresh, rejuvenated. Didn't play right away. Denver also has Jamal Murray listed as questionable for tonight. The Canadian Jamal Murray, he was kind of limping in their last game, their loss to Brooklyn. And who knows? I think with this big lead that they have in the standings, they might hold them out for tonight. In any case, if he plays or not, I'm still going to be looking for a play on Toronto here. Toronto at currently minus 1. It's going to be my play in this matchup. Next game, Brooklyn at Oklahoma City. OKC is a 1.5 point favorite. Had OKC favored by 2 lines, fairly accurate. Oklahoma City is 33 and 35, tied with the Lakers and the Pelicans. They have identical records. The 35 losses Um, During the battle for the play-in tournament, looks like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to play in tonight's ball game. The Nets guys have been balling out, playing very, very good basketball. 2 straight wins. They beat the Timberwolves on the road and the Nuggets on the road. They started the road trip with a win in Houston. Their only loss came to the Bucks, where they held out a bunch of their starters. Still managed to be competitive in that game, so they are definitely uptrending. In this game, as tough it is to bet against Oklahoma City at home, I'm going to be looking to take a play with Brooklyn here. Brooklyn and the +1.5 is my side on this game. Next game, we got the Lakers at the Pelicans. The game is currently a pick'em. -1 at the Lakers, I see at some places. I had New Orleans favored by 2 in this game. Lakers lost their last ball game to the Knicks. The Knicks at home. They were on a nice little streak. Got that streak snapped. The Knicks played a little bit of bully ball over there. Were more effective in the second half of that game. Got the W. Lakers guys are in playoff play-in positioning. They have gotten up there with 14, 15 games left in the season. They're going to make it. The Pelicans, identical record with the Lakers. Like I mentioned, Lakers, New Orleans, Pelicans, OKC, 33-35. An important game tonight. Brandon Ingram has missed the last couple for the Pelicans, but the Pelicans guys have been playing pretty well ever since coming back home. They beat the Mavs in their first game back from their road trip. Bad loss to the Thunder. That was the first game that Brandon Ingram was missing, and in their last game they picked right back up, blew out the Blazers without Brandon Ingram. Played very well at home. They played very up-tempo basketball. What we were used to seeing the Pelicans play in the early part of the season. In this, guys, in this matchup, I'm going to be looking to take the Pelicans. I'm going to look at them to continue their momentum and get another W tonight against the Lakers. Next game, Milwaukee at Phoenix. Milwaukee is currently a 1.5 point favorite. Both teams are on the second night of back-to-back. They were in Northern California yesterday. Milwaukee was playing in Sacramento, got a nice win over there in Sacramento. Phoenix was in Golden State, got blown out against the Warriors. They've been struggling, guys, without KD. They've lost a couple straight. Second night of back-to-back. Might be a little rougher for Phoenix. If you consider their very, very thin roster. Not a lot of quality on that team. If you take away Booker, Chris Paul, Ayton, and Durant, the rest of the guys, nothing to write home about. They got players like Terrence Ross as being their main backup players coming in off the bench. Nothing really great there. The Bucks, second night back-to-back. From what I saw in the injury report, Middleton's going to be out. Giannis has a questionable tag on his name. He's missed the last few. I don't know if they're going to hold him out, guys. It was a finger issue. It wasn't his knee, so I'm pretty sure he's going to play tonight. He had a huge game yesterday, 46 points. In any case, guys, I'm going to be looking to take Milwaukee in this game. Milwaukee 1.5 is my side over here. I think the difference in quality between these two teams at the moment is just huge. Chris Paul in the second night of back-to-back will definitely be affected. How much will Booker and Ayton be able to do? The rest of the guys are just nothing to write home about, guys. Really, they just the roster is really thin. They didn't pick up anything during free agency. I think the Suns are going to struggle from now on. Even when KD comes back, of course, they're going to have a big-time starting lineup, but their bench is very, very thin now. Their fifth player, guys, Josh Okogie is their fifth best player. I think that pretty much says it all. Last game, New York at Portland. New York is currently a 2-point favorite, 2.5 at some places. I had New York favored by 2. Portland is going to be their first game back from a long road trip. The Knicks are also continuing their road trip. They got that nice win against the Lakers after losing a tough one to the Clippers in their back-to-back games over there in LA. Tonight, I think they are definitely the favorite. Much more quality on their ball club. The Blazers, like I just mentioned, first came back from a long road trip. They have lost 3 straight now. The Sixers The Celtics, Sixers, Pelicans, three tough teams. You can say that you can't really say that they're very, very bad losses, but they they do count as L's, guys, in the standings. And if you look at their playoff positioning, they're pretty far out now. They've distanced themselves from the last positions in the play-in tournament. They are 31 and 37, 2 games behind the rest of the teams. Not easy to make up, guys. Damian Lillard also missed the last game because of a calf injury. He's listed as questionable tonight. They added Jeremy Grant to that also. Blazers are reeling, guys. I don't think they're going to make it. The Knicks, on the other hand, guys, they play tough every game. No load management for them. Of course, they are without Jalen Brunson, but they still have a lot of quality on that team. In this game, guys, I am going to be looking to take New Orleans. New Orleans with the money line. I'm going to wait in this game. I do think... I have a feeling Damian Lillard was probably just held out for the last game for rest purposes to get him ready for the next games, especially this one at home. I think the line will drop if he gets announced in. I'm going to be taking to take the Knicks in any case in this game with the money line. So these are my picks for tonight, guys. We have a nice 8-game schedule. Some pretty interesting stuff. I think from the majority of these games, we are going to have to wait closer towards tip-off to finalize our plays because there's a lot of uncertainty on the injury report. A lot of stuff can change from now until then. Anyways, and that's what I have for you guys tonight. I'm going to cut this video right here. Good luck, guys, on whatever you decide to bet, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.